On June 9th of 1997, it was a Monday, between 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Got off early that day, and I used to love going down to the bluffs over the Mississippi River.
Through many dangerous toils and snares.
Decided to sunbathe, laying on a towel. And you know, when you've had your eyes closed and it's a really sunny day and you first open them, it takes your eyes a while to adjust. All I could see in front of me as my eyes slowly adjusted was the figure of a man, his shadow over the top of me. He'd been stalking me. He had a mask on. That was the only thing that he was wearing. I mean, the next thing I knew, he was on top of me. And I screamed, and he wasn't expecting that. He tried to run, and I'm not sure why to this day, but I decided to chase him. I turned into that girl that runs up the stairs instead of out the front door in those movies where you're like, go out the front door. That's when I realized I could die. I turned and ran, and I went in the opposite direction. I like to say that I survived that day, but that day was the beginning of a slow, long death. I think that I wanted to be living, but I knew that I wasn't. It was kind of this thing that my family didn't talk about. You know, 6 months later, I was called in for a lineup, and I mean, it was something that didn't necessarily go away right away, but it wasn't discussed. And because of my lack of support system and family, I was left to fend for myself. And I had a lot of anger and bitterness, and I was suicidal. And as the drinking got worse to cope, or the drugs got worse, the more desperately I wanted to be free of all of that. And I got to the point where I realized I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to hurt anymore. I was ready to be free, and I made a decision to forgive. Not just forgiving him, but forgiving my parents, and even better, forgiving myself for a lot of things. And when I chose to let go of that pain and that bitterness and that anger and that frustration, I got something far greater in return. You can't buy, you can't box freedom. God restores and He redeems, and in a very tangible way blotted out that day with something so much greater. Last year, on June 10th, I gave birth to my twin boys, Bennett and Avery, on a Monday as well, between 4 and 5 in the afternoon. So it was almost exactly 17 years later. I don't think the timing was an accident. That date and that day and that hour, they used to own me. Not anymore. Something else owns me now. 2 little people. And I love it. But I also love what God has created. Something so beautiful out of something so ugly. It just blows me away on a daily basis. I love it.